Well, good morning. Here we are, Justice's Waiting Room. My name is Jared Malott. I am your host with the most. And a lot of people have been asking. One of the things I've said this whole time is timing's everything. Actions have reactions. So when you wonder, hey, Jared, I haven't caught all your content lately. Uh, how do you feel about excuse me. Make sure if you're listening here on YouTube, okay, or you're listening on TikTok, make sure today you drink water, you hydrate, okay? Gonna hop over to TikTok. Morning, TikTok. This is Justice's Waiting Room. Hey, here's the link to the YouTube live. Hey, y'all over here on TikTok. Y'all over here on YouTube. Here's the link to TikTok. Okay? And then obviously, hey, here's a link to the TikTok so you can share it. Okay? Obviously, here's the link to the YouTube in the YouTube so you can share it. And what I would encourage you to do, because we got to talk about it every day. I got a Patreon. You can hit me up on PayPal if you want to give me money. Other than that, what I would prefer, we are in a growth mindset. And so, what I would prefer, rather than spending time every day fucking talking about money, hey, I put links in the chat for the YouTube, for the TikTok. You ought to share it. You ought to let other people know what you're doing with your mornings, right? You're right here with me, okay? Like this, share this. You're going to be reminded. I've got moderators in the chat. They're going to say, "Hey, like, share, make sure you follow, subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my TikTok, follow me on Blue Sky." Okay? And like I said, the way I do it is every 10 people that I see, okay? There's about 16 of us. Drink water, hydrate, right? Get 8+ hours of sleep, exercise, eat right, all that shit. Okay? Control what you can control. Understand that part of the plan from the opposition is to wear you down, is to have you questioning your sanity, right? Constantly looking over your shoulder, questioning the integrity of elections in your country, questioning your neighbor. Understand that's the mission. They mean to bewilder. They mean to make you rack your brain. For example, last night, I don't know if you live under a rock, but they were voting whether or not to shut down the government last night. They have until midnight tonight. I expect the deal to be passed. I think that this political theater, it has run its course. And when you're talking about furloughing federal government employees and potentially not paying them and them not be able to pay their bills and shit like that, long story short, I'm against any behavior that leaves people hungry or broke. I'm there. I've been there my whole life, right? I don't want other people to suffer. That's one of the things I've noticed in my life that is a cycle of behavior that we have to break. Is I feel like, especially for men, men treat other people poorly because that's how they were treated, right? Instead of the golden rule, which is treat other people the way you want to be treated, right? Right? I think that's what we were taught when we were kids. People in here kind of demanding I get on my horse and ride, right? Sit there. Um, One of the things that I've noticed is that there are people out there in the same vein um, that are making content or sharing content with me. I had somebody share one person shared 4 links in a row without commentary of people on this on TikTok, okay, posting content of them. Uh, their whole premise is now that Donald Trump's going to be president and Donald Trump won this election and he's going to get inaugurated, like that kind of rhetoric. Okay. Yeah, you are. Inspired, you're a mod, dog. Um, so one of my mods was like, I'm not a mod. And it's like, no, you're totally a mod. If I need to do something or somebody needs to do something, they'll figure it out. But yeah, people are making content bending the knee, right? If you're a Game of Thrones fan, I make that illusion all the time about don't bend the knee. Do not obey in advance. It's literally in the first page of On Tyranny under chapter 1, authoritarianism, the first paragraph. Don't bend the knee. Don't obey in advance. So if the premise for your content is now that Donald Trump's going to be president, now that he's won this election, if your content does not acknowledge Executive Order 13848, if it does not acknowledge processing election crimes in concert with Executive Order 13848, and you've seen my content, you are being reticent. And what that means, okay? What that means is that if you are being reticent, it means that you know that. Now you know anyone that watches my content has heard me talk about Executive Order 13848 and the processing of how to prosecute election crimes document. And again, I'm going to bring it up every fucking day because you're living in it. It's happening right now. Okay? You don't want to a lot of people are not aware and they like forget. They're phased by what else is going on in the world. They're not thinking about what you're living through right now. Okay? What you're living through right now is Executive Order 13848. Okay? And until that report hits Avril's desk and that information is leaked to the public, we know actual dick. Just so you all know, okay? Until that report hits her desk and from her lips or from some secretary or from fucking Joe Biden his goddamn self, which is who I expect to speak on it. Okay? Because, a lot of people are going to bring up today, okay? A lot of people are going to bring up today how Joe Biden made some comments yesterday. Okay? Jomina said we got some snow last night. Yeah, we got some snow last night here in Indy. You got a little dusting. Yep. Dogs are sliding off the back porch to go pee. It was hilarious. So Joe Biden said yesterday something to the effect of I didn't attend Joe Biden, or Joe Biden said I didn't attend Joe Biden. Joe Biden said I didn't attend Donald Trump's inauguration, and he hasn't missed one otherwise. Okay. He basically said I've been to them all, and the only one I missed was Donald Trump's. Um, so I think there is something to be said for um sorry. I'm reading what other people are saying. I'm actually reading your comment. as I understand it, rabbit hole. Garland and Mayorkas will announce. Fantastic. That doesn't. Okay. Perfect. An interview was recorded on the 16th. Came out yesterday. See. There's something to be said for being politically savvy. Somebody said that's not what he said. What? I think he was asked if you're going to be attending the inauguration. He said, I've attended all of them. The only one I didn't go to was Donald Trump's in 2016. What? He said the only person that hasn't attended an inauguration is Donald Trump. That doesn't even make any sense, but whatever. I'm not even going to fucking argue that. Oh, yeah, for Luigi. Yeah. No, you really can't. You really can't. We can't even say his name. The adjuster. Again, so I even can get the quote wrong and my point still stands. How about this shit to the 87 people in my chat this morning? Yeah. Yeah, sir. Yeah, I got people correcting me already. I love it. I love it. This is what I look forward to. Uh, accountability. Also, I'm allowed to say, you're right. I'm wrong. I'm not even gonna look it up. I watched it yesterday and I dismissed it as political theater and was like, he's playing fucking games. So my point still stands. An interview recorded on the 16th was released yesterday where Joe Biden apparently, according to my chat, said, of course I'll be there. Donald Trump's the one that doesn't attend inaugurations or something to that effect. And I just want to point that out that that's a fucking nothing burger. There's nothing there. I didn't take anything. I didn't take anything off that interview from Joe Biden and it was like, "Oh yeah, that breaks my heart." Okay? So because people are going to ask all goddamn day, "Hey Jared, what do you make of Joe Biden yesterday?" Fucking nothing. Okay? Now, let's move on. Let's try to get one story right. Sorry everybody. The next thing that happened after the fucking nothing burger, okay, was the President of the United States and the Vice President at about 6:30 p.m. last night. There's video and pictures of Joe Biden getting off a fucking helicopter and Kamala Harris in a lit motorcade. So you know what a lit motorcade is. That's when your motorcade's lights are on, like the blue woo-woos. Um, and I want to point out they weren't flying. They weren't speeding. They weren't going a high rate of speed. They weren't even flipping up water off the road. So they were going at or a little above the speed limit. They may have been moving with a sense of purpose, blowing through stoplights and shit like that. Actually, I'm guessing in DC, those lights just change automatically for them. But yeah, Joe Biden apparently, for the record, I want to make sure that you understand that we're in an information war, and that one of the unfortunate things about what we're living through is that you are actively being lied to as a means of protecting you, as a means of keeping you calm and making you not flip the fuck out. But I want to make sure I point this out because people are saying Joe Biden didn't leave and shit. They're gonna make some story up. Joe Biden probably already went to Delaware. They probably already did their fucking Christmas. So understand, like, if you're in a war time frame, right? Article 4, Article 5, wartime powers, and you're in the social media era. Understand, I'm a data analyst with a graphic design background. You understand? So like my background is social media, fucking content creation, memes and shit, dude. I got a degree in fucking memes, and for the record, I was see, I got people posting comments just derailing the shit out of me. Joe Biden hasn't been in charge in a long time now. Like, man, just move on with that. Like, oh my god. So anyway, I don't forget what I was saying. Fuck. So, like, derailed. So yeah, people are gonna point out. Joe Biden came back yesterday okay, here are the two schools of thought I'm willing to accept. They already went home to Delaware, had their fucking Christmas, had this planned out. They knew the playbook. Project 2025 said the goal was to shut down the government until Donald Trump gets in power, and then they can just do all the shit that they want to do, like all because there's nothing you can fucking do. We shut down the fucking government. But what they don't understand is that you have to pay attention in government class. You have to pay attention in government class. You have to pay attention in government class. Every presidential administration has had a shutdown. Every presidential administration has shut down. That doesn't mean that people stop working. So all those people, okay, all those people who the only thing they've seen in the last 2 days, that's seen shit in the last 2 days, oh my God, the government's going to shut down. First of all, not our first rodeo. Savvy? Not the first time that's happened. Okay? So now that you know that it's a common occurrence, it happens like in every administration has a fucking government shutdown. Okay? Okay? Every administration's had a government shutdown. Understand that Joe Biden potentially avoiding this, okay? Joe Biden avoiding a government shutdown, that's the story. Do you understand that kind of completes the confecta? The like you really are going to have a hard time shitting on Joe Biden's presidential administration. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me when I'm fucking wrong. When he got the least amount of fucking service members ever fucking killed and didn't have a government shutdown. Do you understand? Like him accomplishing those two things and got, let's say, got inflation under fucking control. We could talk about the CHIPS Act, the PACT Act, all those other things. We could talk about all the other things that he's done since he's been in office. But think about Joe Biden leaving office. The least amount of service members perished during his administration ever. Ever. Less than any other president ever. And also, he is what? Like 10 days away from also having, or 11 days away. I don't know when his administration technically ends. Does it not end until January 20th? Anyway, so like he's however long away, a month away from going an entire administration without a shutdown. So I want to make that point because there's plenty of people spouting misinformation to you, telling you lies right now. This is a great time for fucking liars. Okay? So when I say the story is not Republicans are trying to shut down the government and all the things attached to that, even though it is, it is very much the story. The story is Joe Biden's administration's a fucking month away from not having a government shutdown. That's in addition to curbing inflation. That's in addition to also, potentially putting the cap on a great administration. You can hate Democratic politics all day long. You know what? It's getting to the point. TikTok chat, y'all gotta fix yourselves. I'm gonna start ignoring my TikTok chat and just talk. And you can understand that it's not affecting my viewership. In fact, it's going up. So understand, every time I look out of the corner of my fucking eye and I see some asinine shit, and I'm not upset at my mods. But I want other people that are following me and listening to me is what I'm saying. When you see some asinine shit, you downvote the fuck out of it. You get it off my fucking chat. I don't even want to see it. So, where were we? There are going to be people that are going to say, clearly, Joe Biden is ill. Joe Biden has not, somebody posted in my fucking comments, Joe Biden hasn't been in power. Fuck off. Joe Biden is just fine, dude. It's called political chess. So, Joe Biden and his wife and their grandson, I think, Beau, came back to the White House last night. Okay? And people are going to say, nah, again, Brasher, that's what I was saying. Like, I'm not even upset at my mods. I'm telling my TikTok chat, y'all need to police yourselves, or you're gonna put me in a position where I can't even acknowledge it. You understand? Yeah. Jesus Christ, it's a fucking cesspool today. So people are going to say this morning that there is a potential for Joe Biden to have gone back to the White House, okay, last night, and it's because he was ill. And I just wanted to point out that you saw him 2 times. He spoke yesterday, and there's video of him getting off the plane. I don't think it's because he's having a health problem. I feel like I can go out on a limb and say, like, he looked like an older man moving pretty fucking good for an older man. So I'm just telling you what I saw with my eyeballs. I watched him walk and I was like, he doesn't have a noticeable gait. He doesn't look like he can't stand still. He doesn't look like if you didn't help him, he was going to tip over frontwards. Okay? So when y'all got some words for Joe Biden, just know he spoke yesterday. And I also saw him walk from the helicopter to the White House last night, and he looked pretty fucking good. In fact, his arms were full of shit. He had his arms full of shit, carrying a bunch of shit, walking with his family, getting fucking pictures taken, people asking him questions and shit. Looked like he was handling it pretty fucking good. Savvy? So just so everyone knows, and you can hear it from somebody that watched it, 267 fucking people in my goddamn live. Okay? There's also going to be video of Kamala Harris, or at least her suspected motorcade, headed back to the White House about 6:30. Was when a White House reporter shot the pictures I shot. Okay? I'm so glad I'm on YouTube too. Oh man. I hope this app gets banned. I hope it gets banned. I hope all of these people in my chat right now, hope you just miss on some stuff. So a lot of people, yeah, he was walking with Jill and her grandson. He's fine. Lori got the picture. Okay. So then, there's a video. There's pictures of Kamala Harris's motorcade. Okay, headed back to the White House last night. And again, there's only a handful of reasons why you'd turn on the lights, run all them stoplights, head back to the White House, okay? And I'm giving you the main reason, and I'm starting out by discrediting the main reason. I started out by saying, I saw Joe Biden yesterday, twice. He looked fine. He doesn't have a noticeable gait. He doesn't have the inability to stand still. He doesn't look like he's going to tip over frontwards. And yes, I'm talking about Donald Trump. Okay, so the main reason Kamala Harris would have gone to the White House, okay, the main reason I would have gone to the White House is if Joe Biden was ill. Okay, but I don't think that's the reason. And I get it. We just spent a long time getting to that, but there's a reason. It's because if I just say it in 2 sentences, you understand? So they weren't linking up because Joe's sick. I just want to make sure we got that straight. Okay? What I think the other reason that you would take the White House motorcade back to the White House, right? Like, why? National emergency. So if there's something going on that requires the president and the vice president to be in the same goddamn room, and also understand though, so that's my leading probability. Why did Kamala Harris go back to the White House and meet with Joe Biden last night? You can't think inside the box. You have to say, on what planet the week of Christmas, after Joe Biden just gave a bunch of people the day before Christmas off, right? I don't know if you saw that, but Joe Biden put out an order yesterday, gave federal employees the 24th off. So I don't know if y'all, my YouTube's about to lose their minds because they're like, wait, I didn't see that. Yeah. So Joe Biden gave federal employees the 24th off. Okay. And then what happened was, okay, so people are going to want to know why was national emergency? Remember, I've been telling you it's a matter of national and international security. Remember, I've been telling you this. It's a matter of national and international security. A lot of people are like, why is so much secrecy? Why is the Democratic Party so quiet? Why aren't they telling us they lost? And Donald Trump's going to be the president, and he's going to get inaugurated on the 20th. And we lost this election, and we got to work for 26 and 28. How come we're not talking about that yet? If they lost, how come we're not planning? Do you understand now? Because we would be talking about what to do next electorally if we really thought that this election was over. Okay? If this election was over, they would have said it. Do you understand? We would have said that. Now, what somebody said, when's it to be certified? January 6th. Okay? So, what I think about is why would the president of the United States and Kamala Harris have to be in the same room at 6:30 p.m. last night? Okay? I think in concert with a bunch of different heads of agencies, they probably sat in a room and watched what was going on at the U.S. Capitol a couple miles away. Because what was happening at the U.S. Capitol a couple miles away is Mike Johnson was losing his job. So everybody should fucking laugh because that was a great goddamn joke. And I don't care if you like me or not. That isn't. I have how many people in here? I have 445 people in here. You can't tell me nothing. I'm totally kidding. But yeah, so you have to think about for what reason would you want the president and vice president in the same room last night? And as I've been saying, it's a matter of national and international security. So the reason that we don't know, they didn't just tell us. Neither one of them people just went to a podium last night and said, the president and I are going to be up burning the midnight oil tonight because there's a earthquake going to happen or happened or some shit. Okay? So I get it that everybody's getting excited, right? They're like, oh my God, this shit is happening. And it's like, dude, this shit has been happening. Okay? I don't think you understand this. I don't think everyone understands this. In September of 2018, Donald Trump himself signed Executive Order 13848. You ought to Google it. You know what? I'm going to do you a solid. I'm going to put the link to it in the chat. And I would familiarize yourself, okay, with this executive order, okay? And then what I would also ask you to do in the same breath, okay, is I would say, hey, you ought to read this too. And this is prosecuting election crimes from the Department of Justice. Okay? So I want you to read them both. Okay? Okay? But Executive Order 13848, what it does is after every election, 545 people in my fucking live right now. Okay? After every election, within 45 days, relevant agencies. Okay, so I want to make sure that we talk about what are relevant agencies as it refers to the election and the age of information. Okay, so let's start from the top. The CIA, Central Intelligence, FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Yeah, they're gonna be in on that. Okay, and they fucking hate. They fucking hate Donald Trump. The DOJ, FBI, CIA, NSA? How about CISA? How about DSIC? How many agencies do I need to name before you lose all the blood in your face and you realize, oh shit, he's right. Donald Trump is fucked with a capital F. And he did that shit himself. In September 12th of 2018, Donald Trump signed Executive Order 13848. And what it does is it requires all these heads of agencies to investigate every single election. This includes every down ballot election. All the ones the MAGA won. I saw my girl Nicole on here talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene's election and specifically her county where her election took place. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm on to you. Okay? But all relevant agencies are required to produce a report within 45 days of every election. And I, honest to God, saw this question. So you're right. With almost 600 people in my live, I'm going to explain to you time frames because I honestly, y'all make me ill. I saw somebody ask, when was the end of the election? I just want you to know that's not even a good question. The election day, the day of the fucking election, was November 5th. For those of you that, again, really struggled in high school government, that they're just like really fucking struggling, okay? Jesus Christ on a bike, okay? I lost my goddamn train of thought. Yeah, I was like, if you don't like what I'm talking about, get the fuck out. Like, go bother somebody else. But yeah, you made me lose my fucking train of thought. Oh yeah, all these heads of these agencies, these department heads, they all have to produce a report by today to the director of the Department of National Intelligence. Her name is Avril. Like Avril Lavigne. That's fucking awesome. I grew up on that shit. And then all the like president and all the secretaries, like the Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Agriculture, of Commerce, they're all going to get these reports from all these agencies. And again, I've been saying this whole time, there's a bunch of agencies involved. I can't imagine. I hope that they're all required to use the same program. You know, you're all supposed to use PowerPoint, only use JPEG. It's got to be on our servers so that it will always link or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm assuming there's some uniformity rules, but I'm also open to there may not be a uniform rules for all the presentations. And you got to understand every one of those agencies, all those FBI, CIA, NSA, D6, CISA, they all produce those reports and they're all turned in today. Okay? Information fucking overload. Okay? So now if you've sat since election day and you've thought, oh, this shit's over, and then, you know, on the 17th you thought, all the electors won't vote for Donald Trump because he's not eligible for office. No, actually, after 2020, they changed the fucking rules. They basically made the electors and the vice president's job ministerial. They're not gonna sway from what the fucking voters told them to do, okay? So understand that there were people on December 17th in the last few days that were really upset because the Electoral College didn't bend to their will. And that's not how that works, Jack. Okay? So what has to happen, and what has to happen is in order for you to charge someone, and here's where we don't take people don't read books and people don't interact with the Justice Department until they're being charged with a crime. But understand, for the most part, in order for you to go to jail, you got to commit a crime. So I want to make sure everyone knows, in order for you to go to jail, you got to commit a crime. And until you certify the results of an election that you assume someone cheated in, thank you, MJ. I'm interacting with my chat because I'm seeing shit that For some reason's hidden. George, no. No, brother. Your comment was hidden and I'm still. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. So, they were blocked before I could even get to it. So, they're going to get a lot of information today. The President of the United States, all these heads of state, all these heads of these agencies. And I'm guessing they're going to have some meetings because these dingbats on the right tried to shut down the government thinking that it was going to stop all this information from coming out and it was going to stop all these investigations and it was going to stop the government from functioning. And they won't be able to do anything until Donald Trump is in power, because that's the way you take power, is you make yourself powerful before you're actually in power. And the funny thing is that might work in a boardroom. That might work with some soft ass executives. But that shit don't fly with the DOJ. And so I get it. There's a lot of people out there that think like, man, Donald Trump and Elon Musk, they're bad people, but they're just going to keep getting away with shit. Yeah, about that. Let me explain this to you. I live in Indiana, okay? Gambling wasn't even legal until the last few years. If you wondered how far back in the Stone Age I live, okay? So gambling wasn't even fucking legal in Indiana. So I've been playing poker for over 20 years. And I learned, because I actually got good at poker, that there are people that care a whole bunch about gambling. They care a whole bunch about gambling. They care about the movement of your money. They care about what you do with your money. And so after the election, I want to make sure that we point out, get that off my screen. We want to make sure we point that out, that not Alfie Oakes, this Polymarket CEO getting raided was actually a really big tell of what's going on. Okay? So they had to certify the election. That means that now a crime's been committed that can be investigated. Because like before, it's all pejorative. Like before, we're just assuming. But now that they have like certified the election, they were like, these results are good. Okay? So by certifying the election, that means a crime's been committed. I'd argue, for the record, before I say Elon Musk's actions drew the president and vice president to the White House and it exacerbated timelines that I had said it wasn't going to happen for a few days, and now it might be moved up a little bit. Know that I don't have any information that says the timeframes have changed. So understand that I don't see where it says either of them are due to speak. Man, it's more money, more problems, right? I'm looking at my chat on TikTok with 500 plus people, and you know what's playing in my mind? I don't know what they want from me. You know what I'm talking about? Mace? Anyway, so more money we come across, the more problems we see. See, yeah, more money, more problems, motherfuckers. That's what I have for that fucking TikTok chat. So Murder Mace. So yeah, um, understand that people are waking up, and they're, I started calling people out this morning. I woke up mad. I'm not gonna lie. I was upset when I woke up. I was upset. I'm upset. $100,000. Never mind. It's disrespect. Anyway, I got Drake on my head too. Whew, it's gonna be a day. So yeah, Polymarket map match results perfectly, right? So yeah, they raided this Polymarket CEO, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's called RICO. Okay, it's organized crime, racketeering, all that shit. And so what happened was they go meet with this Polymarket CEO and they sit him down and they say, hey, we're investigating this election. We understand Elon Musk pushed something on along the lines of like $375 million through your platform. So you understand that I think the reason that they raided the Polymarket CEO, took his fucking cell phone and shit, was to figure out how close is he with Elon Musk, what's his communication like with Elon Musk, and did he know, like, did you knowingly allow someone to move $375 million on your fucking platform and illegally gamble on the result of this election? So understand that the rumors are that Elon Musk used foreign actors to bet and enrich himself on this election. That's the rumor. That he not only did he cheat and help Donald Trump cheat to win this election, he also gambled on the outcome. And what I want to make sure everyone understands is this is me saying it with my full chest. He could very well get charged for a whole bunch of stuff. Like, he could very well get charged for a whole bunch of stuff. Do you know how much trouble you get in when you gamble and you helped someone cheat in the and it determined the outcome? Oh, honey. Oh, honey. He was going to get away with a lot of things. But you know what you are not getting away from? So yeah, everybody's, like I said, that fucking chat is toxic as hell. Somebody said that they were reporting me. Somebody said you get away with Sleepy Joe and Hunter. Is that supposed to be an insult? Y'all are just parroting Donald Trump talking points, and that shit is fucking tired. I could honestly, anything that comes out of y'all's mouth just sounds like a fourth grader in a nursing home wrote it. Like, n- nothing sounds intelligible. Like Sleepy Joe? Do you understand that Donald Trump had the absolute worst presidential administration in history, and Joe Biden followed it up with what might end up being the best administration in history? So not only are you lame as fuck and wrong, but like disrespecting Joe Biden's just fucking dumb. Like, what he has accomplished in office is nothing short of astounding, given what he walked into. Jesus Christ. Yep. Yep. You laugh when he signs the ERA today. I'm gonna laugh when Joe Biden uh says a few words to his colleagues, they get a deal done keeping the government open, and then he signs the ERA. And like I said, go look it up. One of the things I'm never doing again is I'm not Googling it again for you. Okay? So if you have questions, Google has answers. Ask Siri. Okay? I'm already letting you know that my channel's too big to answer definition questions. So, do you understand how I don't owe you that? You owe you that. You owed yourself that knowledge, and it's on you to go get it. It's on yourself. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Valerie on my YouTube said, "God damn, your chat's toxic as fuck." Yes, it is. Okay. So I'm here to educate you. I'm here to inform you. I'm here to let you know. Well, I'm here to de-escalate and ease your fucking mind and put you in the right frame of mind on some shit. I don't want you to think, oh, 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 shit. What did they do overnight? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. What's this? I don't know. What did they do overnight? Huh? I don't know. I don't know. What'd they do? Oh shit, that's the wrong link. I got like a million tabs open. Sorry. God damn it, man. Hey, what about that? What about that? What about that? Oh, is that Joe Biden canceling another $4 billion in student loans for public workers? Oh, hey, that's wild. Cancels student debt for tens of thousands? Oh, hey, here's Newsweek. Same story. Sleepy Joe Biden didn't go home to Delaware for the holidays. Instead, he came back because some idiots were trying to shut down the government and canceled student loans for tens of thousands of people. So yeah, and we're gonna keep going because that's not even the only story I saw. Oh, and by the way, just understand that Elon Musk is trying to cut funds meant for cancer research for children and not touch the military contracts, and understand that Elon Musk gets about 90% of the military contracts in the United States. And so if you wanted to pay for literally every program ever, you know what we could do? We could get rid of all those government contracts that Elon Musk has. That's what I think could happen. So when Elon Musk last night was trying to derail the US government over the holidays. So keep this in mind. There are a lot of people that work for the federal government that heat their home with wood or heating oil and shit, and stuff you can't keep a bunch of it on you, and you can't, you got to buy it in pretty reasonable amounts. And when you're going to furlough a federal government employee who uses heating oil, that means that they're going to be real cold. And I can promise you, and that's using an outdated reference. For the record, people don't fucking do that shit anymore. But what's what I'm saying? Like when you furlough a federal government employee and you don't pay them, you just mean that people don't have the oil to heat their home. So think about it's not just. So I'm gonna report that pornography is sexual explicit material. So okay, hide user on my channel. Okay, so just so you know, a woman came into my chat. Oh man, it's wild. It said some just insane stuff on YouTube. Okay. Um, May said, one of my favorites said, I'm confused about him announcing canceling some student debt when things are so uncertain with the shutdown. Are they? So understand that Project 2025 is the GOP playbook now. And there were a lot of people that were kind of hoodwinked during the election and told that Donald Trump's not attached to Project 2025. His name is in Project 2025 310 times. It was literally built and tailored for Donald Trump. Okay? So in Project 2025, they actually tell you what the game plan is. Okay? So they already told us exactly what they were going to do. And for the record, the Democrats, some of y'all, I'm gonna let some of these people in my chat, I'm just gonna let you devolve in the current world state that you're in and the current mental frame that you're in. I'm just gonna let you keep it. I'm gonna remove you from my view so I don't have to see it and no one in this chat has to see it. Okay? But what's going to happen is that they're just going to stay in their echo chamber. Okay? And it's going to be really unfortunate for them. It's not unfortunate for us. I'm not going to miss your commentary. Do you understand? Like when you make a bad comment and I have to block you, you have to sit with that as a person. Like you have to understand, I'm trying to educate people and calm people down who are stressed and anxious, and many are considering leaving the country or leaving their state, or you understand, or leaving us altogether. And you have people coming in my chat and saying, y'all can sit on Hunter Biden's dick. What the fuck is wrong with you? Do you have kids? Or don't you have parents? Did you learn nothing in your whole life? Nobody ever taught you decency. Nobody ever told you there's a way to communicate with other people that gets them to communicate with you, that fosters communication. And there's a way to communicate with people where I'm going to remove you from my presence. And understand, there are 327 people in here right now. So you don't matter. And yet you have the caucasity, which is it's always a white person and they always have the audacity. The caucasity to come into my chat and be nasty. And you notice I haven't said anything about Donald J. Trump today. I haven't said anything nasty about him at all. And I'm talking about Elon Musk, who isn't even a government official. He's not. He's not in power. And he and Donald Trump, who are not in power, are swaying current policy with their behavior. And so when people ask, why did the president and vice president return instead of going home for the holidays? Why did they come back to the White House? And I'm telling you, it's because of Elon Musk and Donald Trump's behavior in the last 24 hours, specifically, that could potentially shut down the government. But I also want to say that doesn't stop justice. You can't stop the hands of justice. I want to make sure everyone fucking knows, like, they will come get you hell or high water. Like you may think in your brain that, like, oh, Elon's just gonna get away. He's just gonna fly away. He's not fucking Iron Man. This isn't a goddamn movie. This is real fucking life. And I'm telling you, Elon Musk was the next one to go down. And in the last 1 week, he got threatened publicly. You want to talk about a list of things that happened to him in the last week that would never happen for you and I? How about the SEC posting publicly, if you don't pay fines, we're going to indict you for securities fraud? And then crickets. You haven't heard anything. No update on that story. I've also tried to tell people, do you think the fucking SEC is going to put out a story? Hero Elon pays his bills. Fucking no. Do you think they're also going to post publicly, Elon didn't pay his bill? No. So we don't actually know if he paid his bill or if he got and understand this about an indictment. Is what you got to understand about an indictment. And an indictment doesn't have to be unsealed. That means when you get indicted, you can just hear that you got indicted and you just got to be this place at this time. And they'll unseal your indictment when you walk in the door and they'll say, here you go. Okay? Yeah. So, people are going to ask all day today, why did Joe Biden and Kamala Harris not just go home for the holidays? And I would say that this was all part of the plan. You can spin it however you want to spin it, but Project 2025 came out before the election and it had their whole fucking playbook in it. They told you exactly what they were going to do, and because they knew in advance, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, again, part of me working in security for so long and being in the Marine Corps on active duty in the infantry during a time of war is understanding InfoSec and NatSec, information security and national security, and also having some understanding of like what's in the best interest of everybody, right? Hey, Janie, what part of get the fuck out do you not understand? And I will never see you again. And that's the beautiful thing is when I'm just talking about the truth, right? I'm telling you what happened. I'm saying they knew about this in advance because Project 2025 came out in advance. And so they had a plan. And so I'm willing to bet they already went home and had Christmas. And so I know there's a lot of little kids that might be watching this and hoping to get something out of it. No, it's you. It's you. I'm trust me. I have fiber and I pay my bill. So when people and it's one person, okay? It's you, it's not me. I'm on fiber, okay? I'm not lagging. I know I'm not lagging. People are arguing whether I'm lagging or not in the comments on TikTok. See, this is what conversations devolved into. We were having a higher level conversation when they were calling me names and shit. You know what I mean? Then he put Yeah, TO on fucking TikTok says, and then he put Project 2025 authors on his fucking cabinet. Okay? So understand, they knew what was going to happen. I want you to go look yourself in the mirror and say, the U.S. government did not know that Elon Musk and Donald Trump were going to try to shut down the government. You don't think they knew that was going to happen? It's in their playbook. They literally said try to furlough the government so they can't do anything, freeze them. You can't do anything until we're in power. That's how they planned on stopping. Yeah, it's all good. Drama. Okay. So understand you're welcome. So understand that I'm here without a clearance. So I'm not telling you anything that's going to get me in trouble. Anything that I'm saying that I'm purporting is just a best guess. Okay? But they anticipated all of this. And there's going to be kids that are going to be sad and they're going to be like, "You mean the president and the vice president didn't get to do Christmas with their family?" They already did that. They did that last week. Okay? And they came back home. They canceled their holiday appearances publicly and stuff like that. And so it looks like, they came back last night. Somebody said was revealing Project 2025 before the election, stupidity or arrogance? Stupidity. And I mean, arrogance is, yeah, it's a great question. It's a double-edged sword, right? Ain't nobody arguing. So there's 260 people in here today. So let's see how we got in here. 15. So we're sitting at pretty steadily 275 plus. So I'm just glad you're all here. As I said, the message that I have for you is get 8+ hours of sleep. Oh, and apparently I gotta tell other adults this. In addition to you gotta get 8 hours of sleep a night, you also gotta put yourself in a position to be able to sleep 8 hours a night. So I get it's a double-edged sword, right? Like on the one hand, you need the rest, and on the other hand, you need to make sure that you're able to get it. A lot of people could sleep for 8 hours, but they can't like make themselves do it. Okay? So get your 8 hours of sleep. Make sure that you hydrate. Okay? I always like to tell stories that are relevant to my points. My best friend, it's a black man from Brooklyn, New York. He lives here in Indy. He's a homeowner. He's like my best friend. I go visit him a couple times a month. He lives in the downtown in a house. I live on the outskirts of town. Okay. And last time I went to see him, he could barely walk. Every step was a screaming pain. He has back pain. And then because his back was hurt, he stepped down a flight of stairs funny, and now his right foot's going fucking numb. And so he can't walk, can't climb stairs, can barely move. And he went to the doctor. And I know you're going to be like, you're just caping for the medical system. Nah, do you know what they did? They laid him down in a bed and gave him some IVs, and they said, "You're severely dehydrated. Do you not drink water habitually?" And my 40-something-year-old best fucking friend had to literally go to the fucking emergency room and be like, "I literally can't walk. My back is fucked. My leg is fucked. I'm in pain." And they were like, "Yeah, but you're at like red levels of hydration. Like you're super fucking dehydrated." And so I'm not saying that like water is going to fix him. No, time is your friend. But I asked him like, did they do some like intensive shit other than tell you that you're fucking dehydrated? And he was like, no. And I felt better after I got a couple IVs in me. And I was like, damn, what'd you do? Get drunk or something? And he was like, no. So drink water. I drink coffee in the morning. So understand like we've been going for an hour. Okay. You need to hydrate. Okay. There's very little that you can drink that is good for you that isn't just water. And a lot of people are going to be saying in my chat, they're going to start arguing about these other fluids that you couldn't be intaking. And I'm just going to smack you in the face and say, drink water. Stop talking to me about coconuts. Okay? Understand that. Oh. You know what I think? One of the reasons that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden went back to the White House last night was so they could call Donald Trump and Elon Musk and say, just so you understand, if you furlough the government before your inauguration, no January 3rd, where they announce the people that won their elections outside of the presidency and they all get seated. I forget what that's called. No January 6th, no January 20th, so that means no inauguration. If those people aren't, Carmi said you get a lot of water from fruit. Yep. Somebody said you need water with electrolytes. You need water with electrolytes if you're being physically active. If you're just... And somebody said you get a lot of water from fruit too, right? You also get a lot of sugar, and that causes diabetes. And people largely live sedentary lifestyles once they get out of the education system, and the education system is a sedentary system. Yeah. Okay. No. Okay. So I'm saying like you need to drink water like it's a hobby. Like you drinking water is what makes you cool. But it's just facts. Like if you don't like just drink water, I probably am not fucking with you. I can promise you that. Like we probably have way too much not in common to ever have a fucking positive interaction because you're arguing with me about a foundation of you living a healthy life. That would be like me saying you need to eat a balanced diet and that every now and then that candy bar is okay. Yep. Everything in fucking balance. Okay. JD Vance was at We saw JD Vance yesterday, and what did he do? He opened his mouth and fucking lied. Straight up. What did he say? The Democrats voted to shut down the government. When the reality is, they had a deal that both sides negotiated and agreed on, and in the final hour, they backed out of that deal and then tried to take $180 million in cancer research money for children and not touch government contracts. You know, those military industrial contracts that Elon Musk gets. You know how he gets 90% of all of them. And if you wanted to pay for socialism, we just got to get rid of Elon Musk. 37 Republicans voted no, which, for the record, is them coming to their senses. And for the record, every vote that they held got more Republican votes for no. Because the one before that it was 33, the one before that it was 16, the one before that it was 7. So for the record, like, I don't think it was that many, but it was like every vote they did increased the number of no votes. So, but of course, JD Vance came out, and the first time you've seen him since election night, 45 days, right? Because they think they're off the hook. I'm telling you, they live in a delusional world where the consequences don't apply, the rules don't apply. And again, I'm just going to keep pointing at Barry O and saying Barack fucking Obama told you last fucking week you're right, no 13, no 6, no 120 because of a furlough. So understand this. If they can't agree to keep the government open, Donald Trump doesn't get inaugurated on January 20th. Like, that doesn't fucking happen. So understand, now that all the bots have left, okay, the people that are like, oh my god, this guy's fucking speaking the truth. I'm so glad I found your channel. You're welcome. So that many of you know that you don't know who I am because there's too many of you, okay? My name is Jared Malott. I live in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm 41 years old. I am happily married and not interested in anything else. I have 4 dogs and 2 cats. My cats, by the way, are brother and sister. I have a German Shepherd. Her name is Ernestine. My cats are Bruce and Karen, by the way. So Bruce and Karen are the cats. They are brother and sister. And then I have a German Shepherd, and her name is Ernestine. We call her Ernie. Ernestine is, I believe that's my wife's grandma's name. Her, like, favorite person. We have an older pit bull. He's a pit bull. His name is Commander Shepard, and that is a Mass Effect reference. And then I have the loves of my life. For the record, these fucking dogs stick to me like glue. I have 2 mini pit bulls. Pam Beasley from The Office. You know, the prettiest girl on The Office. And Pam's fucking gorgeous. Wait till you see Pam. Some of y'all have seen Edmund. You ain't seen Pam yet. Pam is hot shit. Edmund is a moo cow. I don't know about y'all, but whenever I saw an animal when I was a kid that looked like a cow, I called it a cow, even though it wasn't a fucking cow. Well, now I have a cow dog. He looks like a cow. He has black and white spots. He even has like the little snout with the little colors on it and shit. But his name is Edmund Kemper. So this is the part of the show that's not for children. Edmund Kemper was a serial killer. And part of what Edmund Kemper did with his victims is decapitate and fornicate with them, with the hole that he made. And when Edmund Kemper, the dog, was a puppy, he humped just like every other dog does, but he humped Pam's head instead of from behind. So it was real easy to name him. Oh, that's Edmund Kemper. And so I just call him Ed. So it is hilarious when I let the dogs out. When I let the dogs out, I'm yelling, "Come on, Ed! Let's go, Pam! Get it together!" Because it's fucking hilarious. I live in a residential neighborhood. So I very careful like I named one of my dog Edmund Kemper, and I'm just like calling him Edmund Kemper. Edmund Kemper, what are you doing? Like, for the record, not a single neighbor has run out of their house screaming like, "Oh my god." You know what I mean? And I am in school. I am in my last year of school as a data analytics student at Purdue. Boiler up. Uh, Over 20 years ago, when I graduated high school, about 6 days later, I was on Purdue's campus doing the Gold Rush program, which I think that's what they still call it. Somebody gave me a T-shirt a few years ago, and it was still fucking called Gold Rush. And basically, what it lets you do is you got to move into your dorm room 3 months early, start taking classes on a college campus ahead of your actual freshman year starting. And I've always told people, I played sports my whole life, multiple sports a year. I'm going back to school to get a degree in data analytics from Purdue, and then I'm going to do the transition to teach program to be a STEM teacher, hopefully somewhere in Indiana. That would be really nice. I'm also applying uh, to be a head football coach at places that are looking for head football coaches. And my Discords helped me with my resume, and I already got a reply back from an application I submitted this morning. So if you wonder what having someone helping you with your resume will do for your application, I would say when you get a handwritten reply the same day that you send in an app, we're probably doing pretty fucking good. And then so my last year of school, I for the last 5 years. So I'll just tell you about my work history. Actually, I'll tell you about most all of it. Okay, let's just tell you about who I am, so that you know, so I don't have to tell you all the time. So I graduate from high school. I go to Purdue. Within a couple months of being at Purdue, like by August, I had gotten pretty serious into working out. I was in the weight room every day. I played basketball every day. I could finally see the development of my abs. So like I was always a chubby kid for like the first time in my life. I was like getting skinny. Um, you don't just get 3 full meals a day. I think I was on like a 15 meal plan. That's not 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. So when you're not eating 3 full squares a day anymore, like you were when you were in high school, I don't know about anybody else, but like I always had breakfast, lunch, and dinner every fucking day. Um, Couple months into college, I went to the Co-Rec, which is like the main public gym for students on campus. At least that's what it was called. And I even worked there. For the record, I worked at the Co-Rec. So if you wondered what did you do while you were in college, I was a flight student. My degree field was aviation technology. Okay, so a flight aviation technology. Okay, got my pilot's license. Was a pilot. Was a in the process of becoming a trainer. Okay. But about 2 months into college, they closed down the co-rec for cleaning and they put a sign on the door and it said, if you want to get a workout in, just go to the ICF, Intercollegiate, it's IAF, Intercollegiate Athletic Facility. And it's where it's when you're facing Ross-Ade Stadium from the south, looking at it, if you look to the right, there's a big ass building and that's like where the football program is. That's where all the offices are for those teams. There's another gym in there. There's a weight room in there. That's where the football team is. There's an indoor track. I think. It's been over 20 years, and I'm sure they've updated those facilities, and I haven't been back in them. I'd love to. Um, But anyway, I go to the intercollegiate athletic facility, and I always thought that those doors would be locked. It was after 9/11. You know, you got to understand it's like everything's a key card now and all secure and shit. And I go up to the doors of this athletic facility, and they were opened out. And there was a girl in a tennis skirt with a clipboard, and she just walked up to me and was like, "Can I see your student ID?" And I just handed it to her, and she wrote my name and my ID down, and she's like, "You here to work out?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she gave me a towel, and she's like, "Okay, do you want to play football?" And I was just like, "What?" And you have to understand that I am 6'4" and about 300 pounds right now. I've always struggled with my weight. Um, so I've been anywhere from like 220 to 300 most of my adult life. Um, so I'm a pretty big guy. So for the record, it wasn't like she didn't have a reason to say that. I'm a big person. I was 6'3", 220 when I met her. So she's like, "Do you want to play football?" And I was like, "Absolutely. Like, who doesn't want to play football? That's crazy." Like, it was a goofy question. I'm at a Big Ten school. Y'all just went to the Rose Bowl. What do you mean, do I want to play football? The fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? And I thought she was flirting. And she was like, "Here, I got this for you." And she handed me a sheet of paper and she said, "If you come to 80% of the workouts, they'll let you walk on. What position do you play?" And I was like, "Ha, yeah, like quarterback." And she was like, "Oh, cool. Here's this. This is the workout for quarterbacks. I'll see you around." And I was just like, "Oh, that's funny." That's funny. Yeah, I walked on. I was the like fourth quarterback my freshman year. And then I got asked by Joe Tiller, rest in peace. I think he died in like 2016. I would have died too. Um, that was a that was a Donald Trump joke. Anyway, um, he uh, he sat me down and asked me to come back and play tight end. So I was in a position where I was trying to be skinny and be a quarterback and not get hit and shit. And then he was like, "Hey, I need you to gain weight and get hit and shit." So I gained about 40 pounds over the next like 6 months and played my 1 year of like college football. And long story short, I didn't get to play very much, like 9 plays. Uh, and at the end of my sophomore year, um, they got to go to a bowl game. I think we were 6-7 because they lost the bowl game. We were like 6-6. We got to go to a bowl game. I'm pretty sure it was in South Carolina, if I remember correctly, or Georgia, I think. And they asked if you wanted to go, and you could dress, and I might get to play more. And I don't know what it was about it, but I had to pay for the hotel and I had to pay for the uniform. So you get like an issued uniform when you're on the team, but then if you make a bowl game, you go also have to pay for that bowl uniform. Okay? So I asked how much was it? And I heard like somebody said Nebraska volleyball lost last night. Um I called my mom and asked my mom, "What do I do?" You know, it's going to cost, I think it was going to cost a little under $3,000, if I remember correctly, for me to go for basically like a week to go to this bowl game and pay for the uniform. And then, like, you have to think about like extra money you might need. And my mom said, "I don't have a problem paying for it." And she put this little birdie in my ear. And it's, if you've ever read The Alchemist, so a lot of people try to sell you stuff. I'll never do that. Just know that I would never do that. I'd rather get a fucking job. Okay? But I think you should read The Alchemist. And the reason that I think that you should read The Alchemist is because it taught me to look for signs. And my mom put a little birdie in my head and said, "I wish I'll pay for it, but I wish you'd find something else to do with the money." And it just so happened that I lived next door to my RA my freshman year, and something traumatic happened. So I was friends with my RA. So I just asked him, "What would you do?" And he totally laughed at me and he was like, "I would not pay that amount of money to go there for a week with those people and pay for that uniform. I would not do that. And I joined the ski and snowboard club instead. And I also started playing club volleyball. And we played a full Big Ten schedule. We used the same buses that the football team did. And it satisfied my competitive urge without me putting my brain at risk. So if you're wondering, oh man, how come you just didn't play football for 4 years at Purdue? And it's like, do you hear my sentence structure? Do you hear how easily I'm able to conversate and like speak? And do you understand that like the major danger of playing football at the Big Ten level or at the NFL level is the danger to your brain? You're welcome. I played Big Ten football and didn't suffer a major brain injury and trauma to where I'm not able to sit here and speak with you. Uh-huh. And so what happened was because I joined the ski and snowboard club, instead I got to go to Colorado and Utah for 2 weeks, a week each, and 6 days of lift tickets, and go to places I could never afford to go to in a million years now to go skiing. Like when we went to Utah, we were in Salt Lake City. We were where the Olympics were in 96, and this was 2000, like 2004, not even a decade after that. So we went to the ski and snowboard club. I played club volleyball, so people always ask like how come I never heard of you? Because I was a rotational, I was at the end of a rotation at tight end at a Big Ten school. I didn't get to play very much. I switched positions, and it got to a point where it was going to be like that. It was going to be like you pour blood, sweat, and tears into it, and then you have to pay to go to the bowl game. And I know that there's tons of people that are going to hear me and they're like, why the fuck wouldn't you just have paid the money, gone and played in the bowl game? You probably could be like a car dealership owner or something. And it's because like people aim to be fucking car dealership owners and shit. That's part of the reason I didn't fucking play for 4 years. Aim higher, right? So it just so happened that during my time at Purdue, the economy collapsed. The FAA went on a hiring freeze. That's who's going to help you get a job. The airlines weren't even hiring pilots. And about 6 months after I left college, I lost 100 pounds in 90 days and joined the Marine Corps Infantry and was in 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines Weapons Company. I was an 0351, which is demolition and rockets within the infantry. So I've been to demolition school. You ultimately, though, if you're in a good unit, and I was in 2-2, I was in the most combat deployed unit in Marine Corps history. They're going to make you learn every weapon system. So before I would say like demolition, small rockets, raw, 0351, I would say like trained in every weapons system. And then also educated in things like Urdu and educated in things like de-escalation and security and have a great deal of interest as a result of my time in 2-2 in what is the most dangerous aspect of service. And it's the same danger. What is the biggest danger to the American citizen? What is the biggest danger to a person on this earth? And you're listening to a white cis male tell you that it's racism, that it's white Christian nationalism. That's the most dangerous thing to you. To me. Racism is not necessarily dangerous to me, and I hope you can understand how racism is not dangerous to me. Personally, my person is not in danger. Do you know what's in danger? People who don't want me to talk about it. I'm in danger because there are people that don't want me to say that. There are people that still live in the United States that don't understand how much work has been done in my lifetime alone to ease racial tensions in the United States, and how the core component of Russia's effect on the world is racism is the foundation of Russia in the West. That's not my words, that's David Duke, the former Grand Master of the Ku Klux Klan in 2002 or 2004, said Russia's key to the West is racism. And then a couple years later, Don Palmer, I think that was his name. I could be fucking that up. I could be fucking that name up. But there's another prominent white supremacist that said racism, like David Duke said, racism is the foundation of Russia, like in the West. That's their efforts in the West is racism. And then another notable white supremacist said white Christian nationalism is Russia's foothold in the West. So understand that one of the things that has bothered me, and I've known that most of my adult life, if you're racist, it's most likely because you're brainwashed due to the effects that people like Donald Trump and his ilk are having on the populace. So the real damage, for the record, the damage has been fucking done. People are going to sit around and they're agonizing over this potential presidency, and I'm here to tell you that's not going to happen. Okay? But what I'm saying is like the damage is done. The distrust in our institutions is visible and evident. Okay? And the reasons I say that is the media is kowtowing to fascists right now. They're bending the knee, they're obeying in advance. This is you, Morning Joe. Okay? And so when we look at, as we wind down here, we do 90-minute show in the morning, 90-minute show in the afternoon. Okay? Okay? That's kind of my spiel, and I'm sticking to it. Good to go? So a lot of people are going to want to talk about we mostly kept all our talk about what happened on November 5th. We've kept it in our Discord. We've kept it on YouTube and my live podcast. We actually got banned from TikTok for a week for talking about what's going on in Ukraine. And I just want to make sure you understand that when we're live on TikTok, it's because they'll have us. Okay? When we don't have to worry about that with YouTube. Okay? So remember, this isn't me trying to sell you stuff. This is me saying, "Hey, I'm not sitting here saying, "Hey man, TikTok's going to get banned." I'm saying TikTok might not be for us. Okay? So, oh no. When I was going to send you, yeah, I was trying to put a invite to the Discord. I don't know if I can do it. I can do it, yeah. So remember, you don't just get to invite people, okay? You invite people that have already been a part of the community, okay? Yeah, I mean, there's like 50 messages I haven't read in the, okay? Because I know y'all wanted me to be talking about a whole bunch of other shit, but this is my show. I got to do this my way. You gotta let me steer, okay? And so what I'm gonna focus on, okay, is I'm gonna try to get the thing that I think people have not paid attention to since the election. Okay? Yep, the TikTok CEO did go to Mar-a-Lago. Yeah. Which shows their ignorance, right? Oh, you wanted a link to the Discord. Like I said, don't just invite people all willy-nilly. But yeah. Okay, there's plenty of action out there. There's plenty of stuff going on. So it's not that there's nothing going on. Okay. I told you what I thought the most important stories of the day were. Joe Biden canceled a whole bunch of people's fucking student loans. Okay. And then they're trying to shut down the government because they think it's going to keep consequences at bay. And I'm just making sure y'all know, not only do I not think the government shutdown will work, so I don't think that they'll do that. I think that they'll get a deal done because they've had multiple deals. Hey, so let's get this out the way, okay? Danny said, "I'm sorry if this has already been said. What do you think about Joe and Kamala rushing to the White House? It's a matter of national emergency, national and international security." Okay, and it was at 6:30 p.m., so it wasn't really in the middle of the night either. Okay, so they after dinner yesterday, they with their families, they came back to the White House and they met. Okay, and there's a rumor out there that Merrick Garland's going to be in Oregon today. Okay. And let me check my birdies real quick before we do something. Okay, remember I was saying yesterday that we expect stuff tomorrow, maybe the 21st. Okay. The DNI report's just the start. People are asking for the Discord link, and what I'll say, okay? Hey, listen to me. You being a veteran isn't good enough to get into this Discord. You being a fan isn't good enough to get you in this Discord. You're going to have to be here. You're going to have to show me who you are. And I'm going to have to make a judgment call based on your behavior before I'm going to let you infect that community. You understand? So there's going to be plenty of people are going to come around like I want to be a part of that. There are less than 20 people in that fucking Discord, and if you think for 5 seconds I'm going to let you into that community just cuz you're a veteran, nah. Just because you commented here and you appear to be a leftist? Nah. What's going to take is it's going to take a commitment. You're going to have to be here days. You're going to have to put in work so that I see I got somebody in my chat that ain't afraid to tussle with someone else and tell them when they're wrong and tell them, like, get the fuck out, right? That's taking ownership. Can't just walk into the bar and demand to go to VIP, right? So understand, I love y'all. I appreciate your service. Thank you for your service. I want you in that community, savvy. But I'm not just gonna I'm just not gonna put a sign up. I got a VIP. Come on in. Price is zero, savvy. It's gonna take something. And what is it gonna take? What can I actually expect? Your presence. I have to see you for a few days. Good go, Earl. He gets it. Okay. Because I got to protect those people. Because even those people aren't great at protecting themselves. Do you understand? Those people, that small group of people that I've grown to care for, they haven't been great at protecting themselves. They've allowed people to come in there that have infected our room. Okay? So we're going to shut it down, okay? So I can take a little break. Butt hurts. So, yeah, they're caught. They're caught. There's a reason I didn't hit on it heavy. We won't have to. They don't have a choice. I told you why. I told you why. I think that Elon Musk gambled, which is fucking illegal, on this election. And I think that's why the Polymarket CEO got raided. Because he moved a large amount of money on Polymarket over this election that he had a hand in the outcome. And I think the CEO of Polymarket might want that money back. This is for entertainment purposes only. Okay? And I don't think you can get out of that. I don't think you can just let that go. Okay? So understand, I've been saying this whole time, Elon Musk's cronies gave this away. Okay? Donald Trump gave this away. Donald Trump set himself up for all of this. So understand, when it comes down, when justice reigns upon you, understand it's not going to look like, sound like, or feel like what you want it to look like, sound like, or feel like. And that justice isn't the fucking Statue of Liberty. It's not Lady Liberty. Okay? The hands of justice move swiftly. But slowly. Do you understand? Like they're not constantly in fast motion. It's like watching a bird soar, and then it starts a dive and it starts a descent, and then ultimately it's on its target, locked in, and whoop, shit's over. Okay, so that's ultimately how I look at the U.S. justice system. Okay, is that they're plodding along, taking their time, taking their notes, making sure all the shit that's happened, all the shit, all of it, all of it, all the shit that's happened that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they're getting away with all of this. They're culpable for all of it. And just keep that in your brain that that they're fighting against the people that want to deregulate and eliminate them. And it's like, who do you think wins? Hundreds of thousands of federal government employees who right now, today, they could not get paid. They could be furloughed because of this, because of Elon Musk and Donald Trump. And they're not even in power yet. And I'd ask you, like, if you had homework due and you worked for one of those fucking orgs, would that not be the best shit you ever turned in? Highest quality everything that you could do? Your job is on the line. Not only that, but like democracy is on the line, but like your job's on the line though. Like if we don't get these guys, if we don't charge them for the crime they committed and actually do something about it, not only are you setting yourself up for failure now, but in the future, when the next guy decides that he's Donald Trump and fuck the libs, they don't pay enough. And keep in mind, that's most of the powerful Republicans that you've ever met are former Democrats that believed the same things that you do, that decided that they wanted more money and sold their principles and their soul for money. And understand, just like I keep telling you, like justice doesn't look like or taste like or sound like or feel like what you think it fucking looks like. So a lot of people out here have been calling for like the firing squad for all these people, and it's just like, that's not how that's gonna work, right? You understand that, right? But also there are people that like, though they'll never see a day in prison, and it's like that's also not how that works, right? They're trying to get you for the biggest crime they think you can commit, as long as it doesn't unalive other people. Okay? So that's what they're doing. That's why they've been so quiet. Because Sun Tzu said in The Art of War, never interrupt your opponent while they're making a mistake. And what the Democrats have been doing since as long as I could fucking remember is just letting the Republicans fucking make their dumbass mistakes. And eventually it's going to lead you to a point where you're taking money from Russia, taking instruction from Russia. And that's before we talk about Israel and Bibi and how AIPAC has a stranglehold on democratic politics. And people ask me, why do you want to establish the American Socialist Party? And it's because I don't want to join a political party where I have to be concerned about whether Israel or Russia's bought and paid for, right? Whether you're bought and paid for by Russia or Israel. And I don't think that either of those countries should have anything to do with our elections. I don't think any other country outside of the United States should be handling or worrying about our elections. And I think that we're going to get that fixed. I think that there's a better system out there and we're going to find it. And we're going to conduct another election. And I'm putting NATO Article 4, Article 5, wartime powers, martial law on your fucking radar and saying, like, understand that it's not, those things aren't bad. What's bad and what causes a bunch of people to unalive is if Donald Trump ever gets in power. And know that there's way too much standing in his way for him to just barrel into power. Remember, I've told you this, Elon Musk did not take government, U.S. government. He only has a pretty intelligent reader view of U.S. government. I'm willing to bet you if you'd have asked him on election night, Elon thought that shit was over. I bet you part of the reason Elon's trying to shut down the government right now is because he thinks a government shutdown means agencies shut down and those reports can't get turned in because the lights aren't on and people aren't there. And they don't understand that that's not how federal government contracted employment works. It just means that you still got to work. Their pay is just going to be fucked up for a while. It's like they're admitting their pay system's fucked up. So understand that all that Elon's doing, in my eyes, is kicking a hornet's nest. He's already in deep shit. He's in such deep shit. Let me explain how much trouble Elon Musk is in, and then we're gonna get out of here. Okay? Elon Musk, in the last week, in 1 week, publicly got told if you and SpaceX don't pay $20 million each, we're going to indict you on securities frauds. I also want to point out, now that we're back live on TikTok, guess who else prosecuted people for securities fraud? Kamala Harris did. Yeah, that's right. And then also understand in the last week, okay, the government is investigating Neuralink, which is the AI stuff that Elon Musk is doing, over a $49 billion, I believe, investment that they got. I'm pretty sure that's what that's about. And they're investigating Elon Musk and SpaceX. I think they're investigating SpaceX. No. SpaceX it was. SpaceX can't get the Elon and SpaceX, they can no longer get the clearances that they need to talk about the high-level space stuff that they need to talk about. So imagine you're like a shareholder of SpaceX and you now know that like Elon Musk can't get those government clearances that he needs. And also, so that was SpaceX and Elon was the can't do that, and they're investigating Starlink and their involvement. Yeah, and he also didn't get paid. Okay? So he was supposed to take a bunch of money from, I think, Twitter. I think it was Twitter. That he was supposed to get like a $50 billion compensation package, and a judge made that not happen. So I think that, people always say like, these people never pay consequences, and it's just like, have you ever had your bank account frozen by the government? I have you ever been threatened with SEC charges for an indictment in securities fraud? Me fucking either. But to have both of those things happen in a fucking week and act like nothing's fucking happening is insane. That's insane. Shit's happening. It's just like, again, Elon Musk has done heinous shit, but they're soft crimes. Meaning like him shutting off Starlink over Taiwan for China, right? Through Putin. Um that was treason. Have a good rest of your day. I had to get out of there before I got fucking. That shit was hot. TikTok was hot. 5,000 viewers, 10 people gifted, 158 diamonds. I don't even know what that means. I hope that's money. But yeah, I'll see y'all later. I'm gonna take a break. Did you like that close? Yeah, I waited until the very end to say all the heavy shit.